Isekai.
Rebirth of the Malicious Empress of Military Lineage. Chapter 161, Troubled Waters. A heaven's shocking secret burst forth in Ding capital. Early in the morning before the skies brighten, there was a middle-aged man who knelt in front of the government offices and crying injustice, saying that the third master of the Shan residence had forcefully snatched commoners and kidnapped one's wife to be a concubine, and it was condemned in heavens and earth. Even though that man looked like a lowlife, but one did not know where he had inherited a smooth tongue. Not only he talk about it, he also sang about it, making it so exciting that it attracted a lot of commoners who came to watch the show, and in less than half a shishan, 1 shishan equals 2 hours, the entire Ding capital knew of the matter. A little while back, the news about the Qian and Shan family fighting a lawsuit was a legendary matter that made the commoners in the Ding capital become aware of the Guiki, Kangzai King. Xinwan divorced his wife of many years for her and really did all the things without any emotions, thus everyone would discuss about it. Everyone could inquire about the good things. Kangzai King was the daughter of old General Shen's old friend and was educated, gentle and elegant. Her temperament was comparable to Chenrikyu, and because she was carrying Shenwan's child, everyone would tend to go to Kangzai King's side. One said that Xinwan snatched others' wife, but everyone was not a fool. Liu province was not near to Ding capital, and initially Kangzai King came to seek support from the Shan residents and claimed that she was unmarried. To speak about snatching another's wife, one feared that it was Kangzai King who had stuck to it. Xinwan had always been clever and elegant, and at the end one was not able to see Kangzai King's real image and helped others raise their wife for so long that even grass was growing on the great hat he was wearing. As for that male's words, no one doubted it. The first reason was that the male had a marriage certificate in his hands, and the white paper and black words indicated Kangzai King's name with the official stamps. Secondly, the young boy that was following along looked exactly like Kangzai King, but he looked quiet and overwhelmed. Everyone was pointing and treated it as a joke that one had not seen for decades. It was said that big families had more scandals, but one did not think that a master would be that foolish. If it was previous, the matter could be suppressed and it would not be spread to the entire Ding capital like this. But this man's performance was sudden as he started to beat the drums and cry injustice early in the morning, making it difficult to suppress it down. Moreover, the people working in the government office would also look at another's reputation. Currently Xinwan and his entire family were imprisoned, so no one cared about Xinwan's reputation. They even joined with the crowd to watch the joke. In the Qian residence, in a remote courtyard, Chenrikyu was listening to the news that Shi King had brought from outside and laughed as she leaned forward. She was currently more indolent these days and was even more unscrupulous. The more she was like this, the more the Chen family did not want to see her. However, she did not care about herself, as the main goal of living was to pull the Chen family down on purpose, and no doubt Chenrikyu was doing that well. Chenrikyu indeed had done it. After being together with Xinwan as husband and wife so many years, he knew the lifeline of Xinwan. After adding all the bits and pieces together, and in addition of bribing Xinwan's subordinates, she delivered the evidence to Xinwan's sworn enemy. After waiting for the news anxiously, finally the good news came. The deeper Chenrikyu's love with Xinwan, the deeper the hate was. It was Xinwan that put her in such miserable state, then she would never let Kangzai King and Xinwan live well. When the entire Shen family was imprisoned, Chenrikyu was pleased, but she did not think that on the very next day the news about Kangzai King having a husband and child would be revealed. She had not thought that after being smart for her entire life, she would lose to a female who abandoned her husband and child. Chenrikyu was laughing manically, and as she laughed she felt that there was bitterness on the corners of her lips. If she had investigated further then and was not that anxious, she would send someone to Liu province to investigate, and perhaps there would not be such an ending. Xinwan was one who would not be able to tolerate a single sand in his eye, thus with Kangzai King's background, even without Chenrikyu saying anything, he would have been disgusted with her. However, there was no turning back of an arrow that was released from the bow. No one was able to turn back after walking to this step. Furen, what should be done now? Shi King asked carefully. Currently Chen Rikyu was not cared for by the Qian family at all, and the matters of the Shan family had come to an end. To Chen Rikyu, it was not a way to go to continue like this. I was thinking. Chen Rikyu pressed her forehead with a bit of tiredness. Since Yu is already settled down, I can do whatever I want. After a few more days, one would leave Ding capital and look for a small place to live out the rest of my life in peace. She laughed bitterly. It is better than to stay in the Ding capital and laughed by everyone. Shi King gave a sigh of relief as she felt that it was better if Chen Rikyu thought it that way. As long as there was hope, life would get better and better. But first I have to go and see Yu. Chen Rikyu's hands were on her chest, else I would not be at ease. Just as she was speaking, she saw Huiyi running over in a rush with a shocked and frightened look on her face. Furen, it is not good. Something had happened. Chen Rikyu stood up and frowned as she asked, what happened? Second young lady. Second young lady. As soon as she heard it was Shan Yu, Chen Rikyu's heart suddenly jumped violently. She grabbed onto Huiyi's hands and asked hurriedly, what happened to Yu? Huiyi was almost crying. The matter of second young lady in the residence of Prince Qin was discovered. When Shen Yu was taken out of the residence of Prince Qin, Huang Fuhao did not stop it. Despite Shen Yu's rains of tears and pleading as she grabbed onto his sleeves, Huang Fuhao only comforted her. Nothing will happen, just follow them. There was no trace of protection in his words and tone at all. Those officials were very clever, and seeing Huang Fuhao's attitude, at the end they had no worries at all and headed out rather rudely with Shan Yu. As Huang Fuhao looked at the entourage of people bringing Shan Yu away, he could not help but frowned and instructed the guards beside him, go and inquire what is actually going on in the palaces of Mingqi. Early in the morning the officials came over to take away the daughter of the Shan family's third household, Shan Yu. Ever since Shan Yu entered the residence of Prince Qin, no one outside knew of it. Everyone would also not expect that a daughter of an official would become the concubine of the crown prince of Qin. But how would the officials knew of the information and actually came to the residence of Prince Qin for her? Just how much courtesy did Emperor Wenhua leave him with? The reason for taking Shen Yu away was because Shen Yu was a member of the Shen family and thus was unable to escape, but there was no mention of the exchanging of marriage between Shen Yu and Shen Dongling, and most likely this was done to deliberately avoid it. However, because of this, there was no need for Emperor Wenhua to do it with such great fanfare. Huang Fuhao thought that there must be something queer with this. Since the other party was prepared, then there was no need for Huang Fuhao to go against. Shen Yu was just a means for him to understand Shen Miao, and it happened that she had some beauty to be played with. He did not really put Shen Yu in her heart and need to go against Emperor Wenhua and made things ugly. Thus he pushed the boat with the currents. However, as to what was going on in Mingqi's palaces, Huang Fuhao still did not know what had happened. It was because as such, he did not understand many things. After thinking for a moment, Huang Fuhao called a subordinate over, go to the residence of Prince Ting and pass a message. These matters of the Shen family were enough to be a pot of mess. It was like a flat and fine silk surface suddenly had a thread pulled out, and when the thread was pulled, all the embroidered patterns instantly became a mess, making one unable to see the original pattern. First it was Shen Wan who was sent to prison after performing poorly, then it was Kang Zai King's husband and child who knelt at the doors of the government offices beating the drums and crying injustice. And now, they actually found the de-born daughter of the third household in the residence of the Qin crown prince as a concubine. From that the matter of the exchanging of marriage between the daughter of the third household and the Shu daughter of the second household was dug up and made everything side at the messy inner courtyards of the Shen residence. It also make one wonder if the Shen family had offended whichever god or ghost to be that misfortunate. It was in the afternoon when Shen Miao pulled the curtains down and planned to take a nap. The Shen family's matter had already gone accordingly to the steps that she wanted. Shen Miao could roughly guess what Emperor Wenhua would do. She just took off her cloak when she felt that something was not right. When she turned around, she saw that in the shadows, Zi Jingxing had come and she did not know when. He was leaning on her bed and was stroking a fluffy thing in his hands in a careless manner. That thing was arching itself, and upon a closer look, it was the white tiger that Shen Miao saw before. That tiger most likely had grown quite a lot, that even its fur were shiny and exceptionally beautiful. However, this did not enter Shen Miao's eyes. She took a deep breath and said, "Who let you go up my bed?" Zi Jingxing really climbed all over her. She had gotten used to him flipping over windows to enter, and now he dared to climb to her bed on broad daylight. Could it be that he would come in from the front door's opening in some days to drink tea and be welcomed by everyone in the residence? It was just unreasonably reckless. Zi Jingxing said, "Specially came over to congratulate you." "Why do you react like this?" "Congratulate?" Shen Miao was stunned. "What to congratulate?" "Then Shen family is in prison as you wished." Zi Jingxing let go of his hands and the white tiger tumbled down and happily bounced around on Shen Miao's bed and even scrutinized the fine silk on Shen Miao's bed with its claws, making one feel pity. Zi Jingxing stroked his chin. "Kang Zai King's reputation is ruined, Shen Wan is regretful, Chen Rikayu is implicated, and Shen Yu also ended up imprisoned. All these are things that are worth congratulating." He blinked his eyes. "Are you not happy?" To speak so straightforwardly about the result of scheming made Shen Miao a little uncomfortable. She took 2 steps forward and grabbed his sleeves to pull him out of the bed and said, "It is all right just to say one's congratulations. Prince Ruan need to personally take a trip if gifts are prepared." Then how could this prince express one's sincerity? Shen Miao used a lot of strength, but Zi Jingxing did not move one bit. He swept a glance at Shen Miao and said with a smile but not a smile, "Moreover, in this round, you even trapped Fu Ziyu. It is worthy of a celebration." Shen Miao's heart jumped and her hands involuntarily loosened. Zi Jingxing's eyebrows raised and his hands reached for Shen Miao's hands as it pulled her forward. Shen Miao was unable to prevent it, and due to the instability before, she fell straight into Zi Jingxing's chest. The eyes of that youth were smiling, but his gaze was as sharp as a knife. His words were said as soft and warm like whispers to a lover, but the words that were used were cold. He said lowly, "To even implicate Huang Fu Hao, that old emperor would not let Fu Ziyu off easily. This move of yours is wonderful, but aren't you afraid that it would inviting the fire to yourself?" Shen Miao looked up and towards Zi Jingxing. 2 years ago the youth was romantically beautiful, but there was still some contempt. Perhaps it was a deliberate performance. 2 years later, after exposing his true identity to everyone, it made one felt more unfathomable. A cynical tone of voice was used, as if all the matters of the world had become an indifferent smile, but that ambition hidden under the handsome appearance was the most daunting to others. Asking a tiger for its hide appeared in Shen Miao's mind. Yes, what Zi Jingxing said was not wrong. The matters between Chen Rikayu and Shen Wan were just an opening act, and Kang Zai King would also suffer punishment from her own abandonment, and everything was a camouflage. It was her final deflective move. Shen Miao had never forgotten who her true enemy was, the scariest enemy, the most hated enemy, Fu Ziyu. Shen Wan had already been implicated with Prince Ting, Fu Ziyu, and now Shen Yu had become Huang Fu Hao's woman. Shen Yu was Shen Wan's daughter, thus it would make others think that perhaps there was some relations between Huang Fu Hao and Fu Ziyu. The suspicious Emperor Wenhua would definitely send someone to investigate it. If there were nothing between Huang Fu Hao and Fu Ziyu, naturally nothing would be discovered, but unfortunately these two people had the heart to form an alliance. As long as Emperor Wenhua investigate it seriously, it was very possible for him to discover something interesting. At such a critical moment, it could become Fu Ziyu's fatal blow. If on his route to become the monarch, there was Emperor Wenhua's suspicion and blocking, it would not a smooth journey at all. She had known that this move was hidden very well and did not expect that the purple-clad youth would have seen through it in a moment and watch her walk out from the colorful shell she had on. She wanted to get up from Zi Jingxing's side, but Zi Jingxing used one of his hands to hold her arm and the other supported the back of her head. Shen Miao was almost laying on Zi Jingxing when she was breathing. The warmth between the distance made her able to hear her violent beating of a heart, but she did not know if it was hers or his. If at this moment someone outside came in, Shen Miao's innocence from the rest of her life would disappear. However, Zi Jingxing was a frivolous person and would not find that his actions were wrong. Shen Miao suddenly smiled and slowly said, inviting fire onto oneself. Zi Jingxing stared at her slyly. The fire has already found me. Shen Miao's voice had an indifferent yet serious tone to it as she continued, does Prince Rua thinks that I have a retreat route? She had never had any retreat route. Even if there were no revenge to settle, no Wan Yun and Fu Ming, no rebirth for the purpose of revenge, Shen Xin still had contributions that exceeded the monarch, thus there would be a day where the eldest household of the Shen family would face elimination. In order to protect the Shen family, Fu Ziyu would become her enemy. Of course there is a retreat route. That youth suddenly said. Shen Miao's fingers that were grabbing his clothes slightly moved. His side profile of his face was exceptionally handsome and his eyes were so beautiful and dark that it made one fall. Moreover, that long eyelashes were currently warm as it slightly filtered the sunlight from outside the curtain. He said lightly, with this prince here, fire will not be able to burn you. If you feel afraid, then come and hide at his prince. His voice was clear yet intoxicating as it floated into Shen Miao's ears. This prince will cut a retreat route for you. Shen Miao looked at him as he spoke casually and cynically, but he always gave others an illusion as if his promises were heavier than 1,000 jin. 1 jin equals 1 pound, and he could definitely carry it out. But why would she suddenly have the feeling of wanting to cry? If in the previous lifetime when she was in the palace, someone said to her, with me here, I will cut a retreat route for you. Could it be that she would not walk all the way to the end? Could it be that her children would not be dead and her clan eliminated? The relationship between people were really strange. One did not care if what Zi Jingxing said was real or not, but Shen Miao's heart was gently swaying at this moment. It was like a butterfly wanted to fly out of her heart. Zi Jingxing however suddenly retrieved back the smile on his lips and looked at Shen Miao seriously. He then blinked and asked Shen Miao softly by her ear, but why is your heartbeat suddenly so loud? Shen Miao violently pushed Zi Jingxing away and sat up at once. Zi Jingxing's lips hooked up and his two hands casually behind his head. You are sick? You are then sick. Shen Miao took a deep breath and said, Prince Rua has congratulated enough and can leave now. I am an innocent young female and one will not be able to get married if others see this. Zi Jingxing frowned. Don't you want to be an empress? How would ordinary people be able to marry you? Seeing signs that Shen Miao was about to erupt in anger again, Zi Jingxing then sat up and grabbed the tiger that was chasing the pendant on the couch before placing it in his arms. He looked at Shen Miao and said as if it was funny, since it is a joyous occasion, how about I add flowers on the brocade? aka add icing on the cake. Shen Miao was startled and unconsciously looked towards Zi Jingxing before asking, what do you want to do? This person, Fu Ziyu, is not pleasing to my eyes. Zi Jingxing said understatedly, although one cannot resolve it together. He slightly squinted his eyes. It is not bad an idea to throw stones when he is down. Just as Shen Miao predicted, when the news of Shen Yu being caught and imprisoned was heard by Fu Ziyu, the unchanging face of Fu Ziyu could not help but lose color. How did Shen Yu suddenly entered Prince Qin residence? He asked his guards. One heard that initially the second Shen young lady was not willing to marry to the young master of the Wang family and exchanged her marriage with the Shu-born third young lady of the Shen family. It was just that scandal was not publicized at that time. Afterwards the second Shen young lady secretly ran away from the residence and inadvertently encountered with the Qin crown prince and then became the concubine of the Qin crown prince. Enough. Fu Ziyu interrupted the guard's words and pressed his forehead as he said hatefully, this group of Shen family. Ever since the involvement of the Shen family, he really did not have anything that went smoothly. A few days back Shen Wan came to seek asylum with him. He gave Shen Wan a difficult task, but he did not think that before Shen Wan started, he sank. It was fine if he sank, but he even implicated him. Emperor Wenhua currently was suspicious of him, and Fu Ziyi had to arrange everything with great difficulty and plan to push everything onto Shen Wan so that it would dispel Emperor Wenhua's doubts, who knew that at this time there would be a knot that also brought Huang Fuhao in. On the surface it looked that it was only Shen Yu's matter, but in fact it was related to Mingqi's and Qin country's relationship. The Qin country and Mingqi most likely would be walking down the road of alliance, and it was something that everyone knew, and among the 9 princes, whoever who was closer to Huang Fuhao would be targeted by Emperor Wenhua. Naturally, Emperor Wenhua did not wish his sons to be close to Huang Fuhao, as Emperor Wenhua wanted to let the Qin country see that he was the only monarch. Just at such a sensitive period, Shen Yu was in the residence of Prince Qian, so how would Emperor Wenhui think? Was Shen Yu there because it was Shen Wan's move to win over the Qian crown prince, and Shen Wan was working for Fu Ziyi? Currently Fu Ziyi and Huang Fuhao were really tired together. The more Fu Ziyi thought, the more his head ached. He always worked out a strategy in advance and did not know what to do with this sudden change, since he also did not know Shen Yu and Shen Dongling had exchanged their marriage, and did not know that Huang Fuhao had brought Shen Yu in as a concubine. This matter is just too much of a coincidence. A trance of viciousness appeared on Fu Ziyi's cold face. Someone definitely is behind the scenes scheming. It is obvious that the spearhead is pointed at me. The matter with Shen Wan is false, and the real thing was to push me into the water. I want to see who is behind the scenes controlling. A young aide asked carefully. What does your highness plan to do? Imperial father has become suspicious, and it would be self-defeating if one were to clarify it in a rush. Fu Ziyi said. One can only wait and see. However, one has to figure out who is exactly scheming behind my back. Perhaps it is Prince Zhuo or Prince Zhuan. Not possible. Fu Ziyi resolutely denied it. This is not consistent with their usual methods, and moreover this involved Huang Fuhao. If they were to take action, there would inevitably be traces, and it would not be worth the loss when discovered by Imperial Father. The aides looked at one another and no longer spoke. Pei Lang stood at the middle of the aides calmly with his hands by his side. Fu Ziyi did not ask about his opinion, and he did not take the initiative to speak, but he could feel Fu Ziyi's gaze that was on him. Seeing Pei Lang's calm face, he did not know why, but another face suddenly appeared in front of Fu Ziyi. That young female face was small and delicate, and that pair of eyes was as clear as a mirror, as adorable as a little beast. But she always frowned and put up an attitude which made Fu Ziyi think about the head of the inner palace that was in Kunning Palace. What she portrayed was even more magnificent and dignity. A phoenix or a beast? Fu Ziyi coldly laughed. It was only a female. Even if one had great abilities, it was impossible for such things to be from her hands. However, even so, Fu Ziyi did not forget that perhaps Shen Miao had close relations with that Prince Ru of Great Liang. If Prince Ru really took action because of Shen Miao's sake, then Fu Ziyi had also aware of the other party's weakness. If one had identified the other's weakness, then the next step was to take unrelenting actions, and this was Fu Ziyi's style. Upon thinking about it repeatedly, he only then realized that the other party had gave him this big gift. Fu Ziyi clenched his fist and slowly calmed down. Go and find some people to take guard in front of the residence of Prince Qin and monitor day and night. He then looked at all the aides and said faintly, also double the number of guards in our residence. Not a single housefly can fly in, and not a single mosquito is allowed to fly out. Pei Lang's heart jumped as he felt that Fu Ziyi's words still to be targeted. However, he still hung his sleeves and a look of indifference was on his face. However, the aides around started to whisper and mumble, seemingly able to sniff out some signs. The anger in Fu Ziyi dissipated. A gentle smile like usual appeared, but when his smile appeared halfway, a guard came in from outside and said, Your Highness, His Crown Prince Highness had sent someone to pass you some words. Fu Ziyi was startled and said, Call them in. Just as he stood up, he suddenly realized something and his expression changed drastically. It's bad. Emperor Wenhua knew about Shan Yu's matter and was currently suspecting that there were some implications between Fu Ziyu and Huang Fuhao. One feared that at this moment he spared every effort in investigating the relations between Huang Fuhao and Fu Ziyu. Huang Fuhao did not know what had happened and did not know the real reason of Shen Wan's arrest, and thus here to ask about it, and unfortunately came to the barrel of things, fearing that this time it would be caught by Emperor Wenhua's people. It would be impossible to wash one clean even if one were to jump into the Yellow River. His crimes would almost be made true this time. Fu Ziyu suddenly sat on the chair. In the heavenly prisons of Mingqi, there were many people that was in prison at the moment. Shen Yu and Shen Rikayu had not thought that they would be reunited with the entire family of Shen Wan at this kind of situation. Shen Wan also had never expected that Shen Yu would become Huang Fuhao's concubine. Shen Wan was after all one who was in the game, thus when others was unable to see clearly, he however could see clearly, even though he knew that it was not possible for him to escape from death. When Shan Yu involved Huang Fuhao, it made him give up all hope. Emperor Wenhua would not deal with Huang Fuhao because Huang Fuhao was the crown prince of Qian country, and Fu Ziyu would be able to think of ways to protect himself since there were many different capable aides under Fu Ziyu. Moreover, to deal with a prince just because of some doubts was not an action Emperor Wenhua would do unless he wanted chaos under heavens. With this train of thoughts, the one that could be sacrificed would be the Shen family. Shen Yu was afraid and indignant in her heart. After entering the jail unlocked with the females of the Shen family, she hurriedly pulled Shen Rikayu and asked, "Mother, why are we also captured? We no longer have anything to do with the Shen family. What is actually going on?" When Kangzai King heard it, she felt a little refreshed. She initially regretted her choice of the Shen residence as no one wanted to lose one's life and riches, and speaking of that, Shen Yu who ran away and Shen Rikayu who was divorced were instead lucky. Kangzai King had thought about it and felt irreconcilable, but once Shen Yu and Shen Rikayu were sent in, Kangzai King was very happy about it. When one was in a misfortune, one would want to grab onto a few others to drag them to hell together. Kangzai King said, "Why is second young lady not Shen family's people? You are master's daughter." Shen Yu scoffed, "It is not a horse, like you, turn to butt in."